up? It's A Wee Natter. I'm Marc Steele, and across the table from me is...
Jenny Steele.
And we are joining you on a week where I'm going to have to be a little bit depressing here, but here in the fine United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, it has been slightly flooding this week, hasn't it? Yeah. We live in a village. It's got a river through the middle of it. Like most villages, most towns, pretty much. It was kind of funny. I was speaking to someone, they were going, I didn't realise everything was next to water. All the towns and cities. Like, yeah, that's how life used to work in the olden days. But yeah, our village got split in half. The biggest news is that Allerton Roundabout, which you've never come across it before, is a roundabout on an A road. That's all you need to know. It turned into an outdoor Lido. You could have swum laps round it. It was fantastic. The really sad news is that Costa and McDonald's were also struck in that moment, being right next to the roundabout.
Costa's still short.
Yeah, so we're going to have a moment's silence for the weak sauce coffee that they usually deliver. And that's a moment over with. Although it did remind me a bit, going back a very long time ago, my granddad, who is sadly no longer with us, he passed away when I was in university, so this isn't yesterday this happened, but he got flooded out a number of times living in Elgin, which is right on the River Lossy. Which, if you want to do your geography bit there and figure out where it is, north of Scotland, if you need that level of detail to follow. And I do remember, it was exactly like that, where the house gets flooded out, they get moved into a sports hall, and then you're coming in to be outside help, and you can't predict which roads are going to get cut off.
No.
So you find yourself taking the windiest, weirdest route to get into the place. And then the route you took in is no good for getting out because it's in turn flooded later. Felt a bit like that again. But on a more positive, less serious note, it is also the week that the Dog Poo Challenge has kicked off.
Oh.
Are you aware of the Dog Poo Challenge?
No, I'm not. No.
It doesn't involve actually touching, well, hopefully not touching dog poo.
I like the doorstep challenge.
The fun thing about autumn is that most trees, the leaves turn brown or orange and they drop from the sky onto the ground. And they tend to do it en masse. It's not just like one or two leaves, it's all the leaves off the trees. So that happens. You've got a footpath that's now covered in this brown, orange coloured stuff. Which is exactly the same tones. You know, if we've got the Pantone out, the exact same tones as dog poo. The challenge is that when you walk along a footpath, can you avoid the hidden landmines?
Oh.
And all you got to do to score well is get through that path without hitting them. You get more points for more leaves on the path. So if it's just a little scattering, you only get a point or two. If it's like knee-deep leaves that, you know, like you were a kid kicking them around in the winters of yore, if it's that level of stuff, it's hundreds of points if you can get through that without hitting a hidden landmine. And that is a real challenge. It's the time of year when your shoes always come back home with something on them that you never planned for. There's a positive note. And on a less smelly note, moving on from that, the postbag has arrived. And I must tell you, the posties have got skills at the Dog Poo Challenge. They know what they're doing. They have to do it every day, so they know exactly where the landmines are going to land. But last episode, we asked you two different questions. One of them was about, we're coming up to Christmas, we'd quite like to do some consumer advice stuff.
Yes.
Give you guidance on the best options to pick for your Christmas table. And we're getting you to choose from two options that we're going to investigate. One of them is the humble mince pie.
Yeah.
The other one is a Yule log. Not to be confused with a log on Christmas Day, that's something very different. It's a Yule log. So there's going to be a whole scoring system and all that going to go on as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at your responses because some of you answered that. And we're going to keep a very high-tech scoring system that makes Bullseye look like it's in 2001 Space Odyssey or something like that. We are going to be using literally pen and paper and tally marks and hope that I can remember it's 5 tally marks before you move on to the next one. If I can remember to do that, we'll have this high quality scoring system. We'll find out whether it's going to be Yule log or mince pie. And the other question, so this is a second thing to keep in mind as we're going through this, is we also ask you, what rule would you bring in as a benevolent dictator of Solid Radio Island? So we've got those two topics going on at the same time. I think we'll start with Sam Killip. And they are starting on the island. saying, make it a place where people have the opportunity to achieve their dreams. This feels like it should be done over, if you're going to see this on the telly in the middle of an ad break, it's the sort of thing where they'd be showing you, library footage of people with smiley faces shaking hands, getting diplomas with nothing written on them, that kind of stuff. Achieve their dreams and have no barriers preventing them from being curious to explore the available opportunities. That is a fantastic idea. I'm on board with that one because it's the sort of thing that winds me up. Because I won't do it, but I could rant on this fine podcast right now in front of you about how where you start, whether it's in your career or in your life, pretty much dictates where you're going to end up. Nobody starts in the postal room and makes it up to the boardroom anymore. That sort of thing doesn't happen. And what schools you go to and what opportunities you get. And that's how you start in life. And it doesn't fully dictate where you end up, but it has a strong correlation. And I could rant for hours about that and how it's wrong and how we need to fix it. But this isn't a political thing. So I'm not going to do the ranting, but thank you for your contribution, Sam. That sounds like a very good thing we would be bringing to our little desert island.
Yes.
I'm assuming it's a little desert island. I don't want to go too far. I don't want to be in charge of something that's like 300 miles long, like the size of Great Britain or something like that. That just feels a bit too much. I think we have to go with something just a wee bitty smaller. Also being in touch is Linda Denny with a vote.
Ooh.
In our Yule log versus mince pie.
Yeah.
Yule log hate mince pies.
Oh, so that's one for the Yule log.
So that is one. And my high-tech scoring system, if you watch it on video, you'll be able to see me do it. High-tech scoring system. I'm literally putting a tally mark on the paper there.
There we go.
High-tech stuff. Heather Bunker is also being in touch saying, I know autumn is in its way when I see the first toadstool.
Oh, I put some pictures on Sutty's page of toadstools in Sherwood Forest.
So you've been taking pictures of toadstools
Fairy
and
ones.
sharing them. You're talking about the classic red with the white spots and not the dead man's fingers or anything like that.
No, we haven't seen any of those.
They look like a dead man's finger. If you came across them, you'd think you'd found a body or something like that. No, so you're going for the classic red and white toadstool.
Yeah.
And that's a sign that autumn's on and winter's on its way. I didn't make that connection. I thought they just grew all year round.
Actually, so did I.
So thanks for that. As for mince pies versus Yule log, it's a really hard call to make, but I do love chocolate. Oh. That is a diplomatic answer if I've ever seen it.
So that's a Yule log.
I can't count anything for that. That is a non-answer.
No, I think you'll find a Yule log there.
I'll put a vote against it. It doesn't feel right. It feels like a diplomatic non-answer. Karen Campbell has been in touch saying, I think for the competition, a Yule log would be nice.
Oh my gosh, Yule log. What's going on?
I'm going to have to find Yule logs in the shops.
Yeah.
Daisy, Yule log for the competition.
No.
Nobody likes mince pies, that's what it's down to.
I do.
Matthew Summer saying, I think if Jenny wants to taste pies again this year, I might suggest that she pick up a packet from the Co-op for you. And when he's talking about a packet, he's actually sent... And you're only going to see this if you're seeing this on video.
This is great.
So if you're on YouTube or Spotify, you'll be... In fact, you can go to YouTube Music.
Yeah.
And this is a little bit of advice I found out. If you listen to this on YouTube Music, you don't get any adverts and you can screen lock as well. So you don't have to watch the video all the way through. You still get the audio.
Oh, right.
So there's your little... It's free as well.
That's good.
But if you see it on these platforms where we're offering a video to you, you will see that he's literally taken a picture saying £2 for mince pies 6-pack from the Co-op. Apparently they're irresistible.
You said mince. It's mice.
Mice pies?
Mice pies. He was asking if we'd buy a box for Sutty.
Mice pies. Oh, wow, that's the sort of typo I'd make. And I wouldn't realise till I put it on the shop floor as well. I didn't even spot it, and I'm showing you that picture.
It's a good job I'm here, isn't it?
It is what you hear. Also, in answer to this week's question for A Wee Natter, can I suggest that Solid Radio Island do not allow dog owners to use extending leads in a vet surgery?
Yeah, too right.
That just sounds like a very specific circumstance, this.
Well, it is, isn't it? Because it can just go too far away from the owner.
Yeah.
You got a point. Pull them back, and they might attack your cat in the cat basket or something.
You do have a point there. I don't care how much they claim their dog is friendly and how much they claim their dog loves cats. My cat
doesn't love them.
It doesn't know. Is it? Its carrier is terrified of your dog running and getting way too close. Pull your dog back and lead and keep it to yourself. There, I'm none. Thank you very much.
I am totally in agreement with that one.
So what's that a vote for? Is that a mince pie vote? It's a mice pie vote, which isn't an option.
Pie. What are we going to do?
I'm going to convert that to mince pie because it's on zero.
Because we did the chocolate for the Yule log.
We did.
So we'll do that for the mince pie.
The vet surgery thing, because the vet surgeries do try. They don't always do that, but a lot of them try to have separate section for
but then they don't, do they?
Small animals and then dogs, because dogs just get everywhere. I get it. They're curious creatures and they want to be everyone's best friend, and I understand it. But a lot of them have been doing away with it, and you're getting to the point where you're having to sort of hide the fact there's a cat or a hamster or something like that.
Yeah.
Or before it ends up, in some bulldog's dinner. Not that anyone wants that. But it's one of those things that going through your mind in the scenario.
It's not ideal, is it?
No. Also, Dutch Christine Overton saying, I'm definitely a Yule log type of person.
The thing is, right, I've only ever seen family-sized Yule logs. I've not even seen little ones, so how are we going to do this?
So what Jenny's saying there, dear listener, is then when we do our thing of we're going to try all these Yule logs from the supermarkets, from all the major retailers, and maybe even a few random small bakers up and down the country. When we try these things, you're going to have to try the whole thing because it's a family piece. That's what you're saying.
I've not seen an individual, apart from, like the mini chocolate roll swirl things, but that's not a Yule log, is it?
They don't count.
So I don't know how we're going to do that.
You're just basically going to be comparing cheap chocolates. This is what this comes down to, isn't it? Barbara saying Yule log as well.
Oh, I didn't know it to be so popular.
Karen Red Crow, mince pies. So the mince pies are occasionally getting a vote here. But we're only part of the way through the list. You never know. It could turn around.
And I might miss some on Sutty's page. She gets that many comments that...
You've been stealing these off the internet, is that what you're saying? Carol O'Malley saying Yule log. I think lots of chocolate, though mince pies are yummy too.
Oh wow! So that one for each.
I think that's just Yule log. She's saying she likes both.
Yeah.
But she prefer a Yule log. Samantha Palmer saying Yule log for the taste test. The more chocolate, the better, in my opinion. I've listened to this week's A Wee Natter and I agree with Jenny that everyone on Solid Radio Desert Island should have a cat.
Hey, who's that?
So if you want to catch up on this, the last episode is the one to check out, dear listener. But I think they should all be old rescue cats so they can't be bothered to chase the birds on the island.
Yeah.
So that was the problem I had with cats on the island was... You got the birds there as well.
Yeah.
And you'd end up with no bird population on the island. So I think you've solved it all in one go there.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Well done. Jane Barrett saying, we all think Yule logs for this year's survey, please.
Oh, wow.
So in case you didn't know, this is something we did last year. And we went up and down the country comparing mince pies to find the best mince pie on offer so you could have the best one for your family Christmas dinner.
Actually, we are in Norwich in December. So if anybody's listening in the Norwich area... Can you let us know which bakeries to go into and purchase some Yule logs? So
Norwich brings up literally two things in my mind, right?
Sale of the century.
No, weirdly enough, Sale of the Century is not on the list. Alan Partridge and Delia Smith on the football pitch saying, let's be having you!
Oh, right.
This is a very inside baseball thing I'm going to tell you here, dear listener, but... If you listen to the radio and they've got the news on the hour from IRN, Sky News, whatever they call it this week, and they do their little 2-minute bulletin, well, in the lead up to that bulletin, on the satellite feeds, they send you a little beep, beep, beep to show it's still connected, you're still listening to the satellite properly. But in the minute running up to it, they play some audio and they play all these different clips running out. And for a good number of years... The last clip was Delia shouting, let's be having you.
Oh.
And then something like, from Sky News, it's... and then a couple of seconds silence before they start the bulletin. But yeah, that's a very inside baseball thing, that. It's very, very, very geeky. And I'm sure... I don't know if they still do it. If you want to go have a listen on your satellite, you can add... If you've got Sky, you can add it as a secret channel and you can go find out and tell us.
Nice.
There you go. So we've done Jane Barrett. Kate Harding, Yule log for the survey, please. Yule log is
Kate Harding, love to Pepsi and Skylar.
Pepsi and Skylar?
Pepsi the cat, Skylar the dog. Skylar's, come on, what type of dog? Skylar, a husky.
I was expecting Pepsi and Shirley or Pepsi and Coke. I wasn't expecting Pepsi and Skylar. I can understand where it may come from. It might have been they got named very separately, but you're expecting the combo there, aren't you? You're expecting the package. Jane Roberts, mince pies.
Whoa.
As some people either don't or can't eat chocolate. Me for one.
Oh.
Ooh. Well, cats can't eat chocolate either.
Shall we test that mince pie for Jane then?
Just one mince pie. Cheryl Warner, just listen to A Wee Natter, and I think Christmas Yule log, and also I say marshmallow. So this is another issue that happened in the last episode, dear listener. We were discussing about how certain words are mispronounced.
Yeah.
And marshmallow came up as one, because apparently on Bake Off somebody kept saying marshmallow. So I have been hearing that it's a very East Anglian thing.
What about that song? How do they pronounce it? It's a marshmallow world in the winter. How do they sing that?
You want us to be... you want me to trudge into Christmas song territory and find out? Why are you even thinking about Christmas songs in October?
Marshmallow, that just came into my head.
But I think it's Cheryl Warner thinks it's a Norfolk thing. I might think it's a slightly wider East Anglia thing. I think she's onto something there. And I do have to give her the Yule log point as well.
Yule log.
The scores are looking very lopsided. And Linda Denny is our final one.
For now.
For now. Saying, I think Knocktober gets my vote. So we're talking about Flying Knockers versus Knocktober. And we went with Knocktober. And it's a marshmallow with an A.
Marshmallow.
I'm pretty sure that's what it says in the dictionary as well. I think it's marshmallow A. We'll catch up on the rest of the year. Enjoy your day. No vote from Linda.
Oh, no vote from Linda?
No.
Linda, come on, we need your vote.
So, final scores on the doors. What are we going to be giving consumer advice about for your Christmas family dinner starting next week on the build-up to the big day to make sure you get the correct sweet on the table? Scores are mince pies. Oh. How many votes do you think mince pies got?
2, is it? Was it 2?
3.
3? Oh, no.
Yule log.
Oh, gold.
How many votes do you think it got?
7? No, got a bit more. I don't know. I just seem to be sifting through loads and loads of people's comments for these. 10.
11.
11.
So on that note, we will be on a mission, trolling up and down the United Kingdom, looking for the best Yule log to appear on your Christmas table. And on that note, I think we ought to have a wee natter. I unfortunately have some big and some very sad news for you, dear listener, and you, Jenny, as well. The TV show Doctors is ending.
I'm good. I quite like to watch that, you know.
You're a fan of Doctors?
Yeah.
You were the person that was watching Doctors?
Well, I go for a stage where I watched it years ago, then I watched it a couple of years ago, and then when I was in bed with COVID for my birthday, unfortunately, I watched it again. I only watched a couple I think it was series 1. So actually, I skipped between series 1 and series whatever the last series were. I just like have a bit of a flick and see how much it's changed. But I liked it.
Apparently, it managed about 20 years on the telly.
Wow, bit like No Casualties longer, isn't it?
I didn't realise it'd been on the telly that long. I knew it was a sort of TV show where you get people turning up either on the way up in the career or on the way back down.
Yeah. I noticed a few EastEnders.
If you've ever met an actor in your life, they've either been an extra or had a talking part on Doctors at some point. It's one of those type of shows. But it did get me thinking about, the wider thing with daytime TV. What's it about? Because you get your shows like Homes Under the Hammer.
I like that.
How is that entertaining television?
It's interesting.
If you just read it as a dry blurb, it's a house goes up for sale at auction, somebody buys it, and then you watch them do some DIY before they try to flog it again.
It's lovely seeing it all after they've done it.
Yeah.
What they're going to do with it. It's like the Hare Hunters as well. That's good daytime television.
Hare Hunters?
Yeah.
Oh, what's that about?
It's when somebody dies and they've not left a will, so they're trying to find all the relatives, and then obviously I think they must wait until they find somebody that's got quite a lot of money, because then they take a percentage from finding all the relatives and getting, and obviously the money's all, and property or whatever's all shared out between the relatives, but they do get a cut.
They must have an episode where they do that, and then it turns out the estate's only worth like 10 quid in a packet of peanuts.
They don't bother if they find out how much it's worth first before they start.
So they don't do the work and then find out the hard way. No, that'd be more fun. That'd be more entertaining TV show, I think. But also the bit between daytime TV shows, and not necessarily on the BBC here, but when on the commercial channels where you get the adverts in daytime TV, it's always you're about to die and go on a childless holiday for over 50s.
And then the horrible animal adverts where it shows you all the animal cruelty. They just flash on your screen. That's horrid.
Boy, who's the? Are they just going? There's only old people watching this. We don't care about the sick ones. We only care about the old people. No. It's a weird old time.
You're not supposed to be watching telly when you're working from home.
Well, you say that. I used to work in an office where we had somebody who was a very big Judge Rinder fan.
Oh.
And they used to stick that on every afternoon on the telly in the corner of the office. But back to doctors. And it turns out, and this might just be an internet thing. I don't know how true this is, but I could genuinely see it being a thing. Turns out it had one of the weirdest episodes of TV ever. Mm-hmm. So it's still doctors, it's still set in the surgery. What do you think happened in this episode of television?
I don't know.
Oh.
Somebody actually got cured.
Somebody actually got cured. No! What are we going to do in the next episode? Yeah. No. A character got Joe Pasquale syndrome.
What's that?
It's where they thought everyone was Joe Pasquale. So they're literally going through their life and everyone they bumped into appeared to them and sounded to them like Joe Pasquale.
Is that a real thing?
That is not a real thing. That is a TV show that knows its budget illness. That's what that is. It wasn't, we're going to get Pierce Brosnan. It wasn't, we're going to get some Hollywood actor to it. It's like, we know the budget of doctors is £10 and a packet of discos. We're going to get Joe Pasquale. And we're going to get him to play several different roles. That is a proper genius.
Yeah.
There's clips of it online where you can just see this character going mad, seeing Joe Pasquale keep appearing, with a beard, with glasses, with it's bonkers stuff. I'm not making that up. Those clips genuinely exist. But going down the horror route, because that would be quite horrifying, wouldn't it? Imagine the Antarctic ice is melting. So imagine you're making your horror show now, the Antarctic ice is melting. What do you think could be under the ice? That would be the scariest thing you could think of. Because it is genuinely happening. The planet's melting and the ice in the Antarctic.
Dinosaur.
A live dinosaur just popped back to life.
Yeah.
The Thing? You're familiar with that film?
Thing, the Abominable Snowman, Flipper.
All the socks we lost
in Atlantis.
Yeah, the man from Atlantis. All of the socks we lost in the wash. Just imagine if they appeared in the middle of the Antarctic when the ice melted. Just not even the fact that it's chasing after you, because most of these monsters will chase after you, and there's a scary element to that. The scary element to the socks is why. What are they doing there? How did they get there? That's the crazy bit about that. Or, the real scary one, and this is a know your budget option as well, Joe Pasquale.
Yeah.
I still can't get over the fact that there was an entire episode of Doctors dedicated to Joe Pasquale. But it got me thinking, on the wider picture here, dear listener, of TV shows with bizarre casting that you'd love to see. Have a think about a few while I pop some ideas in, and we'll see what your ideas are like as well. Just a TV show that already exists, but you're going to cast like the daftest, weirdest person you possibly can to play like the lead character or something. Imagine Mr. Blobby as Taggart. The catchphrase would be very different. There's been a murder in your finest Glasgow region.
Yeah.
It'd be like, blob, blobby, blob, blob. Can you even blob in a Glaswegian accent? It would be a very, very different show, but you'd still watch it. There'd be something about it, just drag you in, going, what is going on here? Or maybe Liam Neeson presents an episode of Blue Peter. And, I'm not going to do the Irish accent because I'll get it horribly wrong. I'll offend somebody and it'll end up somewhere around Bangalore. Just rubbish with accents. But you can imagine him, in his very dour voice saying, I've got a very particular set of skills that you can recreate at home with sticky black plastic. It would be a very different take on Blue Peter, but it would still be Blue Peter and you'd still watch it, wouldn't you?
I never watched Blue Peter.
Really?
Yeah.
What was wrong with Blue Peter?
I just found it boring.
Oh. Did you watch anything else instead?
Can't remember now. It's too long ago. I don't know.
So any ideas about TV shows with weird and wonderful casting that pop into your mind? Ooh, it's a tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a tricky one, really. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I'll leave you to have a think about that one. And I'm going to open up to you, dear listener, as well. What bizarre TV show casting would you love to see? It could be any show and any well-known figure. It doesn't have to make sense. It'd just be, you know what, I'd watch that just to see how it played out. That kind of mindset. A couple of ways to get in touch. If you're on Spotify, you're watching this or listening to it right now, you can find at the top of the page, there's a button with a question on it. Stick your answer in there. Magic occurs. Another one is if you're on YouTube. So this doesn't work if you're on the YouTube music thing. But if you're on YouTube itself, you go down. I'm going to point down, which feels wrong on a podcast, but I'm going to point down, and there's a comment section there. And if you ignore all the things about racists and Nazis and things like that appear on YouTube comment sections, and stick your message in there. We'll find it amongst the noise and the mess of YouTube. Or the other one is you get on the socials, at Solid Radio UK or at Solid City, and share your inner TV producer, and we will share it with the rest of the gang in the next episode. This is going to sound like a daft question, and I suspect I already know the answer, but have you ever been to the frozen section of a budget supermarket?
Yes, I have.
Yes, you have. Or the frozen section of a budget supermarket. You've been to that one as well. If you've never done it in your life, A, how have you managed it? Did you just never thought, you know what, I'll step inside Iceland or Fulton's Foods or Farm Foods or whatever it is. You know, you've just never been enticed in by it. Or you just lived the ultra-privileged life where you get all your frozen foods from Marks and Sparks and Waitrose and things like that. I can't comprehend that lifestyle thing. Everyone's been to the budget supermarket frozen section.
I had a slice of birthday cake, a Connie cake today, an M&S special Connie.
Well, if you haven't been to that section of the supermarket and you haven't tried a Connie, it's an experience. You're missing out.
It's gorgeous. I had Connie's face, thick white milk chocolate. I didn't even have my lunch today at work because the chocolate was that filling. Well, it was my birthday cake.
You just stuffed your face with chocolate, is what you're saying.
I shared it with the office, but I had the face of Connie.
You had the best bit.
Colin's coming in tomorrow.
Didn't share any of the best bit. And
no, that was mine. The face was mine.
Yeah. Well, in the supermarket, moving back on topic, that frozen section of the budget supermarket, it's full of food that you forgot existed or never thought could exist. So take Spam fritters, right? Which I'll be honest, I've never tried, but everyone raves about.
I've never tried Spam.
Anyone I've mentioned Spam fritters to goes, oh my God, best thing in the world. You need to eat it. You'll die of a heart attack because it's full of salt, but it's amazing. That's what people say when you mention Spam fritters. But
What's a fritter? I'm not sure what a fritter is.
It's a bit like banana fritter and things like that. It's just a little...
Is it coated with something?
It's used, well, the banana ones are. I'm not sure about Spam fritters. You get them from the takeaway, you know, the banana fritters. But I'm told they're very good. However, I have been pointed out, in the frozen supermarket aisle, it's been pointed out to me that it's been taken to the next level. So you take a Spam fritter, it's wrapped in breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
And there's a hole in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And they've stuck chip shop curry in it like a Kiev.
See, I don't like curry.
You don't like it? So that's a nay from you. I am tempted to buy one just to see what I should have done if I'd been prepared, dear listener.
You'd have had one already.
Is to have gone to the frozen supermarket, hidden it in the bottom of the freezer so Jenny didn't know it existed, and brought it out cooked at this moment. But I'm not that well prepared. And I'm not that well organised, so it didn't happen. Now, maybe that's what we need to be looking at in the new year. Where'd you get the best Spam fritter from? I don't know. That sounds like a daft
I can think of better ideas.
But if you've ever been on an aisle, I must admit, some of my guilty secrets are on that aisle. Same for you? Or do you not visit that aisle very often?
I try not to.
Yeah. Well, some of my guilty secrets. Cheesy Hamwich. It's a bit of a strange one, considering the name. It's got
Smiley faces, I like.
I don't mind a smiley face. In fact, I went to a cafe, restaurant, whatever you want to call it, in Manchester on a night out. We went to get some food in this indoor-outdoor seating area thing where you could order food from all these little stalls. And my burger came with smiley faces on it.
I like it.
Seriously, it was burger and smiley face. That was the offer. It wasn't in the kids' menu. This was a full adult portion
Well,
they
the
offer.
big smiley faces or the tiny smiley faces?
What do you mean by big smiley face?
You can get little tiny ones, can't you? And you can get bigger ones.
It was about the size of a two. Well,
No, sorry, I'm getting mixed up with waffles. You can get tiny waffles, can't you, or big waffles?
It's not. It wasn't awful. Smiley faces were smiley faces. You could tell it was just normal smiley
That's
faces.
not a bad idea. You could have a massive smiley face.
But nothing compared to Hamwich, which has 0% ham in it. It's called cheesy Hamwich, and it's amazing food. I love it, but it's got no ham in it. It's made of turkey.
Oh, wow, is it?
And that's what Bernard Matthews makes when he's not doing Christmas turkeys. He's making cheesy Hamwich.
Beautiful.
That's what he's doing. And the other one, crispy pancakes. Burn your mouth off.
Yeah.
They do.
Bit like McDonald's apple pie.
Why are they always the temperature of molten lava?
Yeah.
Or absolutely frozen? Nothing in between. It's molten lava or frozen because it's been left too long. You can never get it just right with those apple pies. And if you're talking about the best option from the frozen aisle of the budget supermarket, my suggestion has to be from my student days. Frozen mince. Sort of thing you might use for pasta or something like that. You get a big bulk bag. It's going to take you a month or two to get through it, but it's cheap as chips and it does the job. The top ingredient, when I bought it, meat. That's what it genuinely said in the packet.
Meat
when I had the
or
ingredients
sort
list,
of
it just said meat. And I must say it had no ill effect on my health. But this is going to sound a bit of an odd question, but to you, dear listener, you, Jenny, as well, get many phone calls nowadays?
I don't think I do, no.
No, it's very rare.
Really.
It's very rare I'll get one. A bit like you, never really
Unless
get
I've
one.
been in an accident or I'm due for an upgrade on my phone. You know, that sort of rubbish.
That's it. They become more common if you apply for jobs, which if my boss is listening, don't worry, I'm not looking for a job. I'm very happy where I am at the moment. But I do remember when I was looking for jobs, it'd be, hello, is that Mr. Steele? Yeah. Sorry, you're a bit useless. We're not interested. That's generally how most of those phone calls went. Nowadays, like you say, it's your phone provider in air quotes phoning you up about an upgrade. The funny bit is they never knew who they work for.
No, no.
That'd be a wonderful way to live your life. You just turn up to a random office, start working. And then the next day you just go to another random office and start working. It's a bizarre way to operate, isn't it? Or the calling about your car accident.
Yeah.
It must have been a bad one because I blanked my mind out. I genuinely don't remember it. Or in the past, when cold calls were much more common, it was the double glazing thing, wasn't it? Who ever bought them? Who sitting at home and it just takes a phone call and, I'll spend a couple of grand because some rando called. You did that.
Yeah,
But if it did work on you, dear listener, and that's how you bought, your roofing or you got whatever done to your house or you bought a new car because some rando phoned you up, well, I have got the deal for you, just you. It's a very special deal and it's a cracking investment opportunity. 10,000% returns are not unknown with this opportunity. Yeah, you're not hearing me wrong. Not 1,000, not 5,000. 10,000% returns are normal in this investment opportunity. Just call our premium rate advice line now. Calls cost £10 per minute and advice is issued at a rate of 3 words per minute to give you the time to let that sink in and you can understand the advice properly. Have you, and your family, dear listener, have you ever heard of Swifties before?
No.
What would you imagine it is if I told you
A bird.
You'd imagine it's a bird?
Yeah.
That's a swift, not a Swiftie.
Yeah.
Swiftie sounds like a removals firm to me or something like that.
Swiftie.
That takes your stuff as payment as part of the process. But apparently Swiftie, if you get down to the fiscal definition, is Taylor Swift fans, as in the pop country sensation that's not as young as she used to be now. Yes. So imagine that you're one of these Swiftie people. You are a big fan of Taylor Swift. You might even be a big fan of Taylor Swift.
You might even be Taylor Swift.
You really believe Taylor Swift is joining us for a wee natter?
It might be.
I mean, if you want to join us, Taylor, everyone's welcome. But I would be very, very surprised that she's listening to a rando podcast from North Nottinghamshire, which has nothing to do with country music or pop music.
She
or
must have
anything.
heard of our solid country when Stephen Hall did it.
With the dueling banjos and everything. 18 Wheels and a Dozen Roses. That's where my country music knowledge ends. And then I know stuff about the poppy around. And then there's all the novelty songs and things. You tend to come across those through the years, as long as you don't start a convoy. But back onto Swifties. And on social media, a post is put out. Somebody sends a beacon to say, Taylor Swift has been spotted in a restaurant.
Oh.
So you rush down there as a Swiftie. There's a big crowd. So it must be real. Taylor Swift must genuinely be there. Except...
She's not.
It is Taylor Swift.
Oh.
But she's a scarecrow. So it's not the real Taylor Swift, it's a Taylor Swift scarecrow that everyone turned up to. Is that a thing now? You can be made a scarecrow.
Wow, I knew there's waxworks, obviously, but I didn't know about scarecrows.
Yeah. I guess if somebody told you had to make a scarecrow, is there anyone you'd make a scarecrow look like? Or what you'd go for if you were in a scarecrow competition?
Ooh, Mr. Blobby.
That feels like cheating. I would have to go for something political, which will upset people. So I'm not going to say who. So you can choose your own.
Can I say who?
Person to be politically upset by to be turned into a scarecrow.
Are we not allowed to say that?
Oh, you can say all you like. Yeah, go for it.
I'd like to turn it into. There'd be 2 people. Actually, there'd be 3.
Well, there's a lot of scarecrows.
Obviously.
Bojo.
Fisher.
As in Rishi Sunak.
And Moggy.
Moggy?
Yeah.
Who's Moggy?
Is that Reese Mogg?
Oh, okay, the Somerset blokey.
Hunt, geezer.
You're getting a lot of scarecrows here.
Actually, yeah, I can have a school of scarecrows.
A school of scarecrows?
It's a school of fish, man will be a school of scarecrows.
Is that the official term?
That could go on and on and on.
Yeah.
Theresa May.
Theresa May? You're just listing off everyone in the political party you're not a big fan of here.
Yeah.
They do have a lot of members. Do you want me to give you a few hours to work on it? I'll give you a tea and come back. But off the back of the Taylor Swift story, do you remember a flash in the pan band called The Wanted?
Yeah.
You might not, dear listener. Jenny does. She must have been their one fan or something like that. But I do remember. The reason I remember them is that when I worked in Yule, the radio business, which apparently is going out of fashion nowadays, isn't it? But I worked in radio. I wasn't a presenter. I was behind the scenes doing technical things and whatnot. And we've got this band coming in. They're called The Wanted. And apparently they're a big deal because they had the same management that we did. So it was very important. They got onto all the radio stations and did a tour and got interviews and whatnot. And I remember a couple of things about a visit. One of them was that it was the middle of the working day, but the building was surrounded by school kids when they turned up.
Why weren't they at school?
The parents were also there, had taken them out of school to come see their favourite band.
What's that, £50 fine?
Well, it made the kids happy. I'm sure half of them argued their way out of the fine somehow. They're saying, that's a lot of education being missed. Put my proper adult hat on there, saying, a lot of education being missed. But the other bit was I was setting up for this interview, and this youngish lad walks in. Who I assume was the work experience boy, because you get them in the media industry. You get, they'll be working there for a week or two to learn how the media business works and how there's basically no jobs in it. But you can still try to be a presenter on your favourite radio station. That's the experience they're going for. So this young lad walks in, and I'm just finishing up. I'm on the way out. So, hello, are you looking forward to seeing the band? Turns out it was lead singer. I didn't even recognise the band. But back to Taylor Swift and your scarecrows. The best scarecrow would have to be, if you had to make a themed scarecrow, so not themed after people, but themed as a concept, I think it would have to be disco ball scarecrow. Yeah. So a scarecrow that's got all the little mirrored spots like you get on a disco ball.
Yeah.
You're imagining what that looks like now.
Yeah.
You're imagining all horrible car accidents. Ignore them. They're a minor inconvenience, but we get our shiny scarecrow. And then you've got a couple of things going for it. One, crows are apparently scared of their own reflection.
Yeah, are they?
Yeah. So it'll work properly as a scarecrow. And secondly, It'll be an amazing addition to Doris's raves when she puts them on a Friday night. Because you know it's your 90-year-old neighbour that puts the raves on in the field, don't you? Because nobody will argue with Doris. So Doris gets away with putting the raves on. Imagine that with a scarecrow there bouncing the lasers off. It'd be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I think we're on to something there. That was, unfortunately, A Wee Natter. It helps if I can even get the name of the podcast right. That'd be a good start. I was Marc Steele. Across the table from me was...
Jenny Steele.
And if you happen to enjoy this fine podcast and you want to acquire it every single time it emanates out into the world, whatever format you're listening or viewing it on right now, there will be a subscribe button somewhere. Tap that button. If there's a little dingy bell button next to it as well, ding that bell. And then the moment it emanates out into the world, you'll get that doot, and you'll know, Wee Natter's available. I better go see it now.
Yes.
That will be your life planned out for the next half hour at that point. That's how to look at it. It's a fantastic way of living.
Yeah.
The other thing to do is when you're out and about and your pet food tester comes in to make sure your cat food's top notch, and they're just finishing up, they're dabbing their mouth after they've finished, mention, oh, by the way, Wee Natter on the podcast, check it out. Or... if you prefer things a little bit live, we've got new and exciting news.
Ooh.
I feel like I should have all sorts of type news stuff going on here. New and exciting news. A Wee Natter is going to be going live well, I say on the wireless. It's on the internet wireless.
Yeah.
So I guess if you're listening on a laptop or a phone, it is on something wireless.
Yeah.
But yes, Bow Radio, BOWE radio.co.uk, or you can get it on your smartphones and your smart devices and things like that. 7 o'clock Sunday night, we will be doing this fine podcast with musical bits as well.
Yes.
In between the talky bits, live, and you can even phone in as well.
You can phone in with requests, can't they?
You can phone in just to call us absolutely useless as well. Whatever takes your fancy.
Phone in to let us know the best places to buy Yule logs.
The best consumer advice. That's what that is. So that is another way you can catch this Wee Natter. It will still be available the way you're getting it today as well. If you feel like your life's a bit too busy or live isn't the thing for you, you prefer to get it in your own time and listen to it at 2 o'clock in the morning, that is still an option as well. None of that is disappearing. And on that note, we'll catch you next time.
Bye.